So I think most of us attending this session are probably developers. And as developers, we all know that exciting feeling when we launch an app, like the product that we've been working on for so long is finally launched and released to the public, and everyone is downloading it. It's a really exciting moment, as we can see in this picture. But sometimes that's not really the situation with our users. Most of the times they're complaining that the app keeps crashing, or maybe some screen is taking too long to load and things like that. So today I'll be trying to show you how can Firebase help you in those kinds of situations. So I keep talking about Firebase, but what exactly is Firebase? So in short, Firebase is like a serverless backend for your mobile application. I mean, both mobile and the web. So Firebase provides you with a huge set of tools that can help you build apps. As you can see on the left side here, we have the list of tools that Firebase provides to help you build apps. In the middle, we can see some tools that can help you improve your app's quality, and on the right side you can see apps that can help you grow your business and engage with your users. So today I want to be talking about the tools that we see here in the middle. So I'm assuming that you already built an app, you already released it, but now your users keep complaining about it. So we will try to improve the quality of the app with those four tools. So let's start with the first one, and the first one is called Firebase Crashlytics. So Firebase Crashlytics is basically a real-time crash reporter tool. It's available for Android, iOS, and Unity. Before I show you what exactly it does, I'll show you how you can add it to your app. So first you'll need to create a Firebase project and enable Crashlytics. And in order to create a Firebase project, you just need to go to the Firebase console.firebase.google.com. And then on your Gradle file, build.gradle file from your project level, you'll need to add the Crashlytics Gradle plugin and also the Google Services Gradle plugin. And then you can add this plugin to the other build.gradle file, this time the one that is under your app module, to add this to the top of the file alongside the Android application plugin. And you should also add the Google Services Gradle plugin there. And one last thing to add to that file is the Firebase platform, and then the Crashlytics dependency. This will allow us to use the Crashlytics in our code. And this is optional, but it's totally recommended for Crashlytics that you also add Firebase Analytics. So if you're familiar with Google Analytics, Firebase Analytics does kind of the same thing. But sadly, I won't be going through it in this session. I'll be focused more on Crashlytics. So that's it. Once you add Crashlytics to your app, you can actually go ahead and test it. So in this example, as we can see, a button that says crash, and when the user clicks on it, we are throwing a runtime exception. We're trying to force a crash in here. So what we expect to happen is that once we click on the button, this exception that was thrown on our app should be seen on the Firebase console. So this is basically what the Firebase console looks like. On the left side here, you can see a list of all the Firebase products that are available to you. And as you can see, they are divided by categories. So on top, we have the build category. So you can see all the tools that you use to build apps. And right below it, you have the release and monitor section. And that's where you can find Crashlytics. So once you open Crashlytics, you'll see a screen that looks like this. It shows some statistics regarding crashes on your app. regarding crashes on your app. And right below, you can see this section that says issues. So under issues, you'll see some events that have been happening on the app. So as you can see here, there's a crash, and there is also a non-fatal error, which I'll be showing a bit later. So with the code that we had previously, with this code, we're supposed to be getting a crash like this one. So as you can see, for each crash, you have some details like the version number. Um, you can see how many times this crash happened. So as you can see here, there it says 14 events. And you can see how many users were affected by that same crash. And as you can see, there are 14 users. So if you click on the crash itself, it should open a more detailed screen where you can actually get the stack trace for that crash. So I feel like this is pretty nice because usually when developers want to get a stack trace for a crash, they usually need to like plug in a cable and try to like check the logcat on Android Studio. And in cases where you don't really have access to the phone that has the application and is crashing, and in cases where you can't reproduce a crash on your own phone, this is usually hard to get. So with Firebase Crashlytics, you can simply get it from the console, as those are sent straight to Firebase. As you can see, there's also more details other than stack trace. You can see the Android version that was running it. You can see the device model and the date and time when the event happened. There are also some other tabs, like for example, the data tab that has more details, like things like the orientation of the device, the memory that was using, and things like that. And there's also this log section, which I'll talk about now. So you can, for example, log some custom messages along with the crash if it helps you figure out how to find the crash. You can use the Firebase. You can call this class Firebase Crashlytics and then call get instance and log that message. Like you can log any message that could be useful for you to figure out why your app is crashing. You can also add some custom keys. So for example, if there's a value that you, for example, if you have like a game and you use basically the same screen every time for all the levels of the game, sometimes it might be useful to specify like at which level it crashed. So you could use like a key, for example, to say that the game crashed at level 5. So the key would be level and then the value would be 5. This can also help you like identifying bugs for things like when you're reusing a screen, or when you're reusing a class and you need to know what exactly were the parameters that were passed to that screen or to that class. You can also report the non-fatal exceptions, as we saw previously on the Firebase console image. Basically, what this does is like it silently records the crash, but it's not really a crash that's gonna stop your app. So your app will not stop running. And the most common way to do this is by using a try-catch statement. So when you catch that exception, you can like silently send it to Firebase by calling this code, saying Firebase Crashlytics.get instance record exception. Then that exception will be sent to Firebase, but your users can continue using your app without any trouble. Next, I'll be talking about Firebase Test Lab. So basically, Test Lab is a cloud-based app testing infrastructure that it gives you access to like a certain range of device with different configurations, and you can have your app running through many devices, and then you can get reports of like how your app was behaving for each device. So to access Test Lab, you can see we are still on the release and monitor section. You have test lab right there. It's the third option in text session. And then you'll get a screen kind of like this. And then you can click on a button that says start a new test. And then it will ask you for a test type. So for Android, there are three main tools for testing. To be honest with you, I haven't tested the game loop yet, but I can tell you a bit about the robo and the instrumentation tests. So the robo test will have like an AI or a robo trying to go over your app, clicking on everything that it can click, swiping, and everything that a robot tries to do on your app, it will try to actually do it. And then it will show you results of like how did the app behave, if it showed any error or anything. The instrumentation test is a bit different because you can actually specify what like all the steps that the robot should take in order to interact with your app, and then you can see some results from there as well. So if you're running a robot test, you should upload an APK or an Android app bundle from your app, and optionally you can also like upload a script that tells the robot like what specific things should it do. But this is totally an option. If you don't upload it, the robot test will try to figure out like different things that it can do, and it will see like if it crashes or not. And once that's done, you'll see a report that looks kind of like this. So you'll be seeing like a test matrix with all the tests that were ran on your app, and you can see different states like if the test was successful, if nothing crashed and all is fine. We will see this red sign in case the test failed for some reason, and you'll see the yellow sign if for some reason the test was inconclusive, but that wasn't your fault. It's probably something to do with the robo or something else at Firebase happened, and they couldn't really get to the end of your test, but it might not be your fault. So you should be aware of that as well. And for each test, you can get like more details. Like you can see the logs that were shown. You can also see some screenshots, and sometimes the robot might make some videos when they're interacting and clicking on the buttons. So you'll get access to all of those also on the Firebase console. And in case of errors, you'll also be getting the full stack trace for that error to help you like identifying and fixing the bug. So more about Firebase Test Lab, you can check out on Wisdom session that is taking place here at DroidCon Nigeria later today. So be sure to check out that session if you're interested in learning more about Firebase Test Lab. Next, we have Firebase Performance Monitoring. So basically, it's a service that gives you insights into the performance of your iOS or Android or even web apps. So if a page is taking too long to load, you should be seeing some insights, so some statistics about how long it's taking for a page to load for a different set of users. And you can get things like the average amount of time that it's taking for some operation to run, things like that. And in order to use it, it's basically the same as the Crashlytics tool. You basically need to add that performance monitoring plugin to your build.gradle file, and then on the other file you also add the plugin, and later you should add the dependency to the Firebase platform and the performance monitoring library. And once you do that, there are some called traces that are collected automatically. So once you're done the performance monitoring to your app, some statistics about app start, which tells you like how long does it take for your app to start once the user clicks on the app icon. You can also see like how much time is your app spending on the foreground while the user is using it, or how much you can also see how much time the app is spending in the background. If you have any slow rendering frames, if you have any frozen frames, Firebase performance monitoring will also try to capture those and report them to you. Also, something else I forgot to mention is you can actually filter those results by country, by OS version. You can apply different filters to try and figure out what's happening in your app. Another one that is also automatically collected is HTTPS requests. So if your app is doing HTTPS requests using the OK HTTP library or even the Java connection class, Firebase will try to log those as well. So for each request, you'll be able to see the response time, the response payload size, the request payload size, and also the success rate. So those should help you figuring out what's happening with your HTTPS requests. But in case you want to do a manual trace for some other operation, for example, if you're reading from a database and you want to see like how long does it take to do that operation, to read it, you can create manual traces on your code. So you do that by calling firebase.performance.newTrace, and then you give it a name. In this case, I'm calling it test trace, but we could rename it to something like, for example, read database trace. And then you call mytrace.start. So once you call start, everything that comes like after you clicked on you call start. So here below you could, for example, call to read from your database. This everything that's below start will be measured, like the time that it takes for you to call stop. That's what's gonna be measured. So you call start, you call the function that you want to measure, and then at the end you call stop, so that Firebase performance monitoring will try to like figure out how long it took, and it will report to the Firebase console. You can also there's also another way to trace. You can trace the entire method if you'd like, and you do that by adding the add trace annotation. And once you add it, you should give it a name the same way we did previously. So this way you don't really need to call start and stop. It will start when your method is called, and it will stop when your method finishes running. Just like Crashlytics, you can also specify some custom attributes. So if you think there are some attributes that will help you figure out why something is being slow, you can also put them on Firebase performance monitoring by simply calling those methods. Put attribute. If you want to remove something, you can use remove attributes. If you want to find out what attributes you've added, you can simply do it like this. So once you do that, this is basically how it looks on the Firebase console. As you can see, there's detailed information about the device module, the versions, and if it was connected to Wi-Fi or not. And you can see some graphs showing you the CPU usage, memory usage, and like I mentioned before, you can see the response time, the payload size, and the response code for an HTTP request in this case. So next, our final tool for today is gonna be Firebase App Distribution, which is a tool that helps you distribute, we can say, pre-release versions. I'm talking about beta, I'm talking about alpha, for a certain group of users. We can call them trusted users. So what this allows you to do is like to create like a list of testers or people who will be testing your app. And you do that by specifying their emails on this testers and groups tab. Again, this is under the app distribution section. You start by coming here to the testers and groups tab, and then you can add some testers, and then you can head over to the releases tab, which will allow you to drop an APK or an Android app bundle for the release of your app. And then once you do that, you can head over to the invite links tab, and you can create a new invite link for your app, and then use this link to share with the predefined group of testers that you have created previously. So one more detail about this is once you share this link, the user will be redirected to the Play Store to install the app distribution app. That's basically an app that gives them access to like all the app distribution apps that they are testers on, and from that app, that's where they'll find a link to download your app. So that app kind of acts like a marketplace or like a play store for testers to go and check out your app. And also, if you release a new update for those testers, they'll also be able to update straight from the app distribution app. So if you want to know more about any of the tools that were mentioned here, or even about Firebase, you can definitely check out the Firebase documentation, which is at firebase.google.com/docs, and I think you'll be able to 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 learn more about everything that Firebase is able to do for you. So that's all from me. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them now. And also, if there's something that we were not able to discuss here, or any other thing that you want to share, feel free to reach out on Twitter. My handle is underscore RP Fernandes, as it's written here, and I'll be happy to have a chat with you. So I'll now head over to the Q&A tab and see if we have any questions. Apparently we do not. I'm never sure if that's good or bad, like when we don't have any questions. Okay, someone asks, how long can I keep the app in app distribution for testing? I'm asking because I have some apps that are already used by just limited users. That are only used by just limited users. I think there's no limitation for like how long you can keep it on app distribution. I've never really tried to keep it for like a really long time, but yeah, I think not even the documentation specifies any limit for how long you can keep it. So I'm guessing you can keep it for as long as you need.
Thank you so much, Rosario. Yeah, thank you so much, Rosario. I believe we learned a couple of things, and I believe you had a good time too. Um, so now we will